Hello, welcome to day 4 of the 21-day coding challenge by Lighthouse Labs. So today I want to talk about how to solve these challenges even if you don't know any JavaScript. Maybe you don't have time to go through the basics of JavaScript. So like how would you use all the information that you have available on this page to help you get through the challenge? So let's do challenge 4. Okay, so the first thing, of course, is to read the instructions about what we need to do for the day. So we need to complete this function called register to vote. So we have to take in the name of the newly registered voter. So that's this, the first input, and an array of names of those who have not registered to vote. Your function must return an array with the newly registered voter's name removed. So if we're thinking about this as like in real life, we basically get a name, we have a list. If we look at the name, cross name off the list, and that name is gone from the list. So that's what we're doing, but in code. Okay, so there are examples here. So like I said, if we had the name Bradley and we had 4 names on our list, basically Bradley crossed off, it's gone, and we need to return a list with an array with no Bradley in it. All right, if I don't know any JavaScript, I'm like, how the heck do I do this? I would go to the hint section, and it tells us basically what we need to do. So it says if we initialize a new empty array within our function, we can use a for loop and an if statement to push the right names into it. So this is one suggestion. And then the second suggestion is that we can use the filter function. And there apparently is a helpful example of how to remove an item using filter. Okay, so let's do this step by step. First, it tells us what we need to do. We need this, let mailing list. So we need to basically have a place where we store all of the names of the unregistered people. So let's do that. Okay, so we have that. Now you're like, how do I do this? Well, hopefully it's telling us we should use a for loop, an if statement, and push. So we can go to the link, basically, and it says, so in the links, if you look at the examples, you will see what is happening. So we have seen arrays before. So there's an array, 3, 5, and 7. And if we can basically loop through each item. Okay, hold on. Oh, I scrolled down too far, I think. Okay, no, that's, okay, no, sorry. I was confused because, okay, so we're linked to this particular section. Okay, so let's start reading. The for ... of statement creates a loop iterating over iterable objects, including arrays. Okay, so that's what we're doing. We have an array. Okay. So okay, that's a little bit confusing. Okay, so anyways, what we want is to iterate over the actual values of the array here. So we want something like this, right? So for each item of array, we are basically logging out what the item is, and it's 3, 5, and 7. So this is similar to what we want. So we want to get that. And let's paste it. And our array is not ARR, it's unregistered voters. So that's the name that we need to use. And what we want is to do an if statement. So basically what we are doing here is going through each name on the list and seeing if it matches the name that's passed in. So if we don't remember what if statements looks like, we can go to look at the if statements. And so we need to see if the name is matches. Okay, so we need to say if, like, say the first name on the list doesn't match the name that we are given, right? So if, let's do name. If let's voter name. So if the voter name matches the name that we're passed in, that we're given, we basically do nothing because we don't need to add the name to our mailing list, right? Like this mailing list is, we want to mail the people who have not registered. So we actually want to do the opposite, right? If the voter name doesn't equal the name that we're given, what we need to do is to add them on the mailing list. So, okay. So there is a .push method that we're given. So it tells us how to add an item to an array. So we can try it ourselves here. So if we do that, we basically see that kiwi is added to the end of the list. So that's what we need. We need the .push function. Okay? So basically, if the name on the list, it doesn't match the name that we're given, we need to add their name, voter name. Okay. This might make it clear, the name on the list. And we can test code and look at the test results. Oh, okay, I did not return my mailing list. Return, okay. Test code. Okay, yay, now it passes. And so if we wanted to look at array filter, so this is the second solution that was suggested. We want to look at that. So creates a new array with all elements that passes the test implemented by the provided solution. Okay, so I don't know what's happening with the screen here. Okay, there we go. So we have a list of words, and okay, so this function is saying if the words is longer than 6 letters, we want to keep it, right? So this function is looking for any words that is longer than 6 letters. So the results, you see, they're more than 6 letters here. So we can use that as our example. So basically, we can copy this. All right, so we'll get rid of this code. We're moving on to the second solution. Okay, so basically, this is an array, if we remember what we're looking at. So this is the array that we're filtering through. And then this is one of the items. So this is the name on list. And we need to basically give it a condition. So here in the original, we were checking if the length of the word is longer than 6, right? So now we need to say if the name doesn't equal the name on the list. So that's the one that we want to keep. And we also need to save that into a variable. And we need to return mailing list. Okay. All right, let's try this. Test code, test results. Okay, so now we've passed this test. So this is how developers' brains work. If we have documentation, like here, we look at how it's similar to the problem that we already have, and then plug in what we need, right? So you can see this. You can see that the syntax for what we have is basically the same, except, you know, I renamed some of the variables, like, you know, our array is called unregistered voters, not words, so I changed that. And then I renamed, you know, each item in my array. And it's just the comparison, really, that has changed in our situation. We're not looking at how many letters we have in the name. We're looking at if, you know, the name on the list that we're looking at matches the person who has already registered. So if you don't know anything about coding JavaScript, this is the way, this is how you need to think to tackle the Lighthouse Labs challenge.